Come on, talk to me. You get the first question. Come on.
All right, first question. Opening day baseball MLB is coming up soon. March 30th, I believe, is opening day. Who is going to be the two matchups World Series 23?
Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go, buddy. Statistically, people always say Astros because of the home field advantage and stuff. Astros and Dodgers is always the top thing. So
Astros have been good recently.
I, they've been good always, even when they cheated and they took away the team and stuff. They've been good. They have a tremendous farm system. They fired crazy enough. They didn't fire, but they didn't want to give a long term deal to their general manager, so they had a new general manager now. But
Mm,
bro, they just have such a home field advantage. They did lose the Cy Young to the Mets now, Verlander, but he wasn't always
got
a
someone
good
in the
pitcher.
chat.
Yeah, one person in the chat. Let us know you're alive. If you're in the chat, please, a comment would be amazing. But yeah, so that's that question there.
Another one, easy one to roll into. Who do you think is the best player, or who will be the best player in 23? That you think is going to have their best performance this coming year?
Like every year, the best lately the best player is always Mike Trout, right? That guy's out
Mm.
of control. Problem is his team has sucked, man. I don't know why, but the Angels can't get it
And they
right.
have Otani too, like one of the other.
They have one of the other guys. The problem with Otani is a recent New Balance guy
There you
is
go.
that he's a pitcher, right? So
Mm.
he's a great pitcher, great hitter, but they just can't. And there's no way the Angels are going to compete with the Dodgers. I mean, with the Astros, they're not even close, man. Like
Mm.
it's sad. It's sad. So yeah. So those are the things there.
All
My
right,
question. Oh,
I
okay,
I
hold
got I
on.
got one more. I got one more.
All right, go for it.
Those players, they got really good. And this is something that I'm sure they did, but were better at managing it. As athletes, how do you recommend people, especially younger athletes, to stop or not compare themselves, to other athletes as much, or just not put as much emphasis on giving that any meaning?
That's super important, Zach, because even as content creators, right? We always tend to compare ourselves to somebody else. And I was
Yeah.
having a conversation with a guy today that's an ex Miami Hurricane in baseball, and he played pro ball, didn't get to the big leagues, and then just got cut. And I go, dude, when you start this content thing, it's interesting because what I would do if I was a player now and if I was a player in high school,
Mhm.
I would watch how these guys are training and then see where I'm at. So, an example, if let's say now a lot of these guys that are training at the highest level,
Mhm.
obviously they got to have some money, right? So they're
Mhm.
all eating a certain way, training a certain way. Um, I would try to imitate that and then see what fits my natural ability. Just like all these content creators or all these positive people, all these successful people, they all preach a certain thing of exercise, rest. Some people meditate, some people do yoga, some people do jujitsu, whatever it is. I think the important thing, and then we don't talk about that a lot. That was my biggest problems when I played is my skill set compared to what I wanted to be were very different. I would have
Mm.
been super successful had I been a hitting guy, like just to make contact and not try to do too much, because
Mm.
I wasn't a flashy player at all,
Mm.
even though my vibe wanted me to be flashy.
So
Like
the
my
self-awareness is what.
Yeah, my I didn't have no self-awareness
Yeah.
till I got way older. I was like, and it sucked because it's almost like if you wanna, it's like you make a choice, right? If you could be the guy from Everlast that saying that he later went off on his own, he went like in the country a little bit.
Who is
Remember
it?
the guy? Okay, so remember House of Pain?
The
The song Jump
Yeah, yeah,
Around,
yeah,
Jump Around.
those
Okay,
guys, yeah, yeah.
so that dude changed completely and went from that genre and he became Everlast and he had like a
Okay,
country song, kind of whatever.
okay.
and it's almost like you pick, right? It's almost like Hootie from Hootie and the Blowfish now sings country.
Mhm.
So it's like, what's your passion versus what gets you paid?
Mm. And
So
finding that mix, finding that balance.
at some point you gotta make a choice,
Come to
because
terms with yourself.
and I didn't do that,
Yeah.
and it cost me my career. It's what
See,
cost me my career.
I was one quick thing, I was talking to someone about social media yesterday too, and he was just like, "Yeah, I just don't feel, comfortable, like, I can have conversations with people, but it's like the camera, it's like this wall, and it just becomes uncomfortable." And I was like, "Well, let's say you set out and make 100 videos, in 3 days or whatever, or however long, right? The first video you do is going to be very uncomfortable and probably not very good. But the 100th video, the
Yeah,
skill level you are on that versus the first video is you're 100 times better, literally,
yeah,
because you've done 100 videos. But you can't get to the 100 level without making 100 videos. It literally
yeah,
doesn't
yeah, yeah, yeah,
exist.
yeah, yeah,
You can't just because content creators, they look and they watch who their favorite content creators who are probably already successful in content and have already they're viewing them up here, and then when they start, they think that they need to start where like where the like you can't start and just be Mr. Beast. You know what I mean? You can't just start and be where Arac is. Like it's absurd for and that's why I brought up that athlete question, because it does tie into the content creation game as well.
Look, and even let's say if you take an Eric, for example, right? Eric's videos mimic a lot of Mr. Beast's style,
100%. Yeah.
right? Fast pace. Oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Blah blah. Whatever. But his vibe and his crew and whatever is a little different.
Mhm.
But it is a Mr. Beast type thing. But yeah, man, the hardest thing, Zach, is that to do something and not even as I hang out with more comedians now, comedians almost don't like to watch other comedians,
Mm.
especially like their heroes, or because they imitate them a little bit at the beginning,
Mm.
because that's who they want to be, So they
Mm.
kind of have their own vibe to it, whatever. But yeah, man, that kills so many people. Talking about YouTube, and then I'll get to your question.
Yeah.
I so when I met with Pump
Yeah, how did that
on
go?
on Wednesday. Really cool guy, man. He has an office here
Yeah.
in Brickell here in Miami. The whole floor, he has it all taken over. So it's like
Wow.
literally desk, and he has his office there. He has his brother there. He has a playroom for his daughter in the
Oh,
thing, and
so it's
so
literally like just a full on play, because I was almost thinking there's, like, employees, but
no,
he
there is
probably
employees,
has.
but
Okay.
but it's like an open space, and then like
Yeah.
with offices also. So he has
Okay,
like a,
cool.
a playroom there for the baby. His brothers things there. His brothers are chilling with like his Labrador
Okay.
dog. Yeah.
Which brother was it?
The sports one.
Joe? This
Yeah.
Yeah. So you met him.
I met him. Yeah, we're gonna
Let's
link up
go.
too. Yeah, and we're gonna talk and stuff like that. But really cool, really to the point. Told me a couple interesting YouTube things.
We
We
got
got
someone in the chat.
somebody. We would love a comment. Let us know who you are and just where you're from. And if you have a question, we're we're here to help you guys on a Friday night. But his place is beautiful, and he uh he goes a couple things with YouTube, right? He showed me like his numbers on certain interviews, certain stuff. He's like, he's like, dude, because I go look, I don't monetize. Like a lot of my biggest videos, I didn't monetize, and he's like, bro, I would do the opposite because YouTube will push it more if you monetize it. That guy does have a whole team, and he has like in the back part, he has a studio with cameras and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
he said he'll come on the show. So, and I'll
That's
do it
awesome.
there. Yeah, and I'll do it there, which
Oh,
is pretty
wow.
cool. Yeah, at his place. He said he almost signed a big deal with Barstool, believe it or
Wow, yeah.
not, because they did a when Dave was full Davey Day Trader, they test drive. I think like they did like a podcast together or a live stream or something, and it went really well.
I do vaguely remember that now, because you know, Dave did go around to all the Bitcoin people at one point in time too, because
Yes.
the Winklevoss twins,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was like a whole big thing too. But and Dave is maybe partially because of Pomp, a only kind of Bitcoin guy.
Right.
He's not into all the other cryptos. But we got someone else in the chat. Let us know who you are in the comments, and they're gone.
And they're like, "Yep." Uh, so with that said, my question for you is, bro, do you ever, when you look at either Dave talking out of his office, which he doesn't now talk to a lot,
Yeah.
or other people at his office, or you see pictures of the past of your painting behind him, right?
Hmm.
And that be like the centerpiece of probably a Barstool, right? What do you feel? What do you think about everything you've gone through with them? What what goes to your brain?
I mean, I'm kind of become numb to it a little bit, to be honest. I mean, at first it was like, every single video they put out, I would almost be like, I'm way less off of doing that just because it's unhealthy, and it doesn't give the same rush, but it is a good feeling, you know what I mean, because that piece specifically too, it's made it on Fox Business, it's made it on Fox News, just because of him being interviewed about a lot of that stock stuff at the time. So what was crazy about that piece specifically too is that that was one of the pieces I gave to him for free, and so it had sat up there for like a month or two before they even hung it up. And what's crazy too is that it's next to this other painting that he's had for like years, that's is like an artist that he's friends with, and there's like a whole story behind it. It's like a star that a man is like filling in because he always preaches at Barstool. It's like you decide how big of a star you become, and that's what that kind of painting emulates. But it's still in there, but it kind of just moved over, and mine became basically the centerpiece just because of based off where his desk is. And he was doing all those daily trade videos all the time, so it was just the and he would just do it at the office, so it was the perfect timing. And you know that was a while ago too, you know what I mean? That was, the pandemic. That's why he got into the stock trading stuff anyway. Because the other painting that used to be in all the videos is when he was at his old apartment in New York City, and Randolph, the OG Randolph piece was one of the ones that was seen all the time. But at this point, it's a cool thing, and it's still something I enjoy to do and see. Um, but yeah, I mean, I've become numb to it. It's kind of weird, but it's just like it's there. It I think it's almost more likely for a Barstool video, like to have my art in it at some point in whatever small capacity or bigger capacity that is, than for a video to not. Um, and I would say that percentage is probably higher a little bit, further back maybe, but there's a good chance if you watch a Barstool video, there's gonna be some Zach Riddle art in the background.
No, yeah,
And that includes
that's
some
for
of
sure.
the ancillary ones too, like Bussin' with the Boys. One of the craziest things last year when they got Aaron Rodgers, okay? Talk about someone I don't even like Aaron Rodgers that much, but everyone knows Aaron Rodgers, okay? Everyone knows that man. And if you like sports, if you like football, and I'm thinking just in the sense of Aaron Rodgers is like he's on my fantasy team, or like just he's so far away from whatever I'm doing, and then he sits down with Bussin' with the Boys, and my art is 2 inches behind his head, and it's all around that whole episode. It was like that was just one of those moments last year that was like, dang, like that's literally like crazy that he.
Zach, are you surprised that people haven't reached out to you more because of all this stuff?
No, not really, because there hasn't necessarily been like a full-fledged like embracing, right? One would say, but
Which is crazy
th-
because like these like those busting with the boys episodes and stuff, they get a ton of views. Like the
Yeah,
amount
they get
of
numbers.
eyeballs, the amount of numbers that they get, and it's just crazy, man. That you'd think that would pop off way more with what
Yeah.
you.
What people would call what I do is a form of guerrilla marketing, which is like it's not like traditional as to like I'm paying you $500 to go market this like artwork for me or whatever. And so I have done millions of views for like some of my original content and certain things that I make or whatever. But if you count the amount of views, millions of views that on videos where my art is in, I mean, I don't. It's uncalculable at this point.
No,
It's
it's all, you know what? That might be a good little thing to put in your bio because look, if you add that plus your picture being a valuetainment,
yeah. That
that's.
picture with PBD did pretty well on LinkedIn when I posted that actually.
Oh yeah,
I went, yeah. I'm telling you, it's the
I
number
gotta do
one
LinkedIn.
spot.
I gotta
I'm
do
huge
LinkedIn.
on LinkedIn right now. I got like
Yeah,
800 followers. That's not bad.
I
I'm
like
building
it,
it
bro.
up.
So people, yeah, because I would think, man, people would see that and they go, damn, that's cool. Let's
Yeah, I got Ice
let's
Cube last year too.
that's
Got in front of Ice Cube, picture with him. You know what I mean? With my art, and he
with your
was
art.
holding up a yeah. So it's
Damn.
like, but things like that is more almost just like a personal thing for me. Like certain people have like I didn't realize it, but like at the time as much because I wasn't even necessarily as big into Barstool when I did the first initial like unboxing. Once I got that reaction from Dave, is what made me really dive into that whole world because I had liked part of my take a little bit.
Right.
Like Big Cat and PFT. Like I feel like that's how a lot of people got into Barstool, at least in my age range. But that was like um, what is the word I'm thinking? It reinforced my
Yeah, love
belief in
for him. Yeah,
myself.
yeah.
Honestly, like I needed that like freaking push because I'd really only literally been doing art for like 4 months before that happened, and so for something like that, for someone of like an entrepreneur of his status to
Hell yeah.
like have that reaction was just like, oh, okay, I should keep doing this. And, now it's all evolved into, different stuff. Like, I still love doing art and making spray paint art and different kinds of art, but it changes over time of like how much I'm interested in that versus other things. Like at the moment, I feel like golf is like almost my main thing right now to where like I'm mainly focused on that and I can still do art whenever I want and I can tie in art and golf together because
Right.
there's no other golfer creator that's doing the art that I'm doing. Well, there's some, other people that I'm sure could do both. But in the content game, there's no one that's building bridges right there. So it's just I'm finding out which bridge is going to get me over the you know over the fastest, I guess, and then you can start connecting it all together. But
Zach, you mentioned golf there. When I send you the link of that guy that you sent me the thing of go golf or whatever that was of that dude that I
good,
started
good,
meeting people.
yeah.
Good, yeah, yeah. How far, like, what separates good from where you're at right now? What is the difference?
Like where they're at right now versus where I'm at,
No, the difference
or
of you getting to where they're at is what? Is it a crew around you? Is it you getting a little more something? Do you think your talent level is there already? Like, what are those? Why did those guys pop? And then where do you
so
see you?
here's one thing. I don't know who was saying this video. The reason why, um, this is why like Mr. Beast, Eric, a lot of these different guys have always had a crew around them. Because if you have four people that are, all focused on the same goal versus one person, the group is probably going to figure out faster than the one person because you
Right,
have four people.
right, right.
If it's a company of four people versus one, You have to be like very, very like if you're by yourself. So there's obviously one-on-one like creators that have made it by themselves, and then they get to the point where they add more people on. But I think that is one thing that was unique for them when they first started off is that it's this group of friends who are all playing golf together and they love playing golf and they're just gonna like do this YouTube thing. And the other thing is the main guy who really started it had been making golf content for years, okay? And he
Got it.
actually really transitioned into different content because his original type of content he was doing is golf like trick shots. And so, that was even something I was considering when I was starting this golf channel. It's not necessarily what, my I enjoy the most, but there's golf creators that have solely blown up off of golf trick shots, and that is
Wow.
their niche, and all they do it's almost like the Dude Perfect guys, right? Like they blew up off of just doing trick shots, and it's family friendly content or whatever. Whereas the other people, like the Bob Does Sports, like so the good guys, they don't cuss in any of their videos. So they're almost like the dude perfect of golf. Because most of the other golf brands, Bob Does Sports, Foreplay, they're cussing. It's not like it's some crazy outlandish,
Right.
content,
It's
but
normal. It's normal.
it's normal stuff for adults and or teenagers or whatever. So that's kind of where fit in more, which one might say it's harder to gain, that audience in there. But the only thing that's missing to get to there is just making more videos because I'm getting better at making these longer videos. Like, a couple months ago, I had never posted one of those, right? And that goes back to the one versus 100. It's like once I get to my 100th video of doing the long ones, it's gonna be a lot better than the first one was, hopefully.
Right.
And even if it isn't, that's still 100 more videos that I've made that are still up to my quality standard. And if it meets that, then it's for the world to decide if it gets views and comments and likes and all the other stuff. You can do all things to help promote that getting as many as it can, but at a certain point, it's just like sports. There's certain things, especially in golf. There are certain things you control out on the golf course. There are certain things you don't. You can't control the wind. You can't control the weather. Like there's certain things that you can't
Right.
control, and some players, can't accept that. Some content creators can't accept not getting views on a video, right? Like the number one thing I tell people that, want to make content too is like I have videos that have over 1 million views. I still every month get videos that do 0. You
Right.
can't have one without the other. And so then towards a certain point, you'll probably stop getting videos with 0, but you can't get the 0 and then say, "Okay, well, I just have to stop because something's not right." Like, no, you need to like go faster basically so that you can get out of that, quicker. But um you can't have one without the other. You can't have uh variables in anything without having things that are controlled, and you can't have things that are controlled without having things that are variables and out of your control. So I think that's the biggest thing is just focusing on what I can control, which is just making more good golf content hopefully that people like.
I love it. Zach, where can the people find you? Come on, tell them.
Zach Riddle Golf, ZachRiddleGolf, Zach Riddle Golf, number one best YouTube golf channel out there. We're we're going up in 23. It's going to be awesome. We're actually going to be doing a new or I'm going to be doing a new series as co-branded with my 50-50-50 tour, where I'm going to be doing 9-hole matches, at least one 9-hole match against a random person or someone I know in all 50 states of the US. So that's going to be an exciting series that I think something like that is going to hopefully,
I love it.
take off
I love it.
and hopefully people enjoy it. So yeah,
All
where
right,
can people
dude.
find you, Coach?
At Coach HP on all social handles. Listen, I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna end this thing because I gotta go, but I'm gonna hit you from the car.
Word.
Peace.
Peace.